Welcome to the first episode of Dear Source, your Ascendancy Hotline. I want to thank you all for joining me live. I could not be more excited for the launch of this show and the opportunity to just connect with all of you and to answer your questions. I get asked a lot of questions, and I thought, what a great way to engage and share what I'm getting asked to share back with you guys, for you guys to grow and learn and to continue to ask questions. And my topic today, I got several questions in the lead up to this show around intuition. Like, how do you know what is your intuition? And that's such a powerful question. And I have a very simple answer, but we're going to spend a little bit more time on it today. But your intuition is that small, still voice that you hear initially. And it's usually not a very loud voice. It's that internal compass of just a knowingness, typically. How I would describe it, and you have to really kind of tune into it, but how I've learned what my intuition is on this journey in this lifetime is that when things happen, I can go back to what was my first initial feeling about something. And whether something takes years to play out, something takes months, couple weeks, whatever it might be, the first internal hit that I had about that topic or thing or situation or whatever it is never was wrong. And what happens, I think, on our journey in this lifetime is we have a very strong ego, and our ego is really predominant in something that we're here to transcend and overcome, as well as evolve through. So we're also in an evolution of our consciousness, of our state of remembering our divinity. And in our divinity is our intuition, our connection to guidance and source. And in that is all the knowledge, wisdoms, and tools that we need. And each one of us has been gifted with very strong internal knowingness. We are source. We are connected to source. So we know what that guidance and communication is. And so what a beautiful gift to learn what your intuition is. And what happens in our society is that we essentially gaslight ourselves out of that knowingness. We gaslight ourselves out of the truth of which we know and trusting that, because then we move into energies that become, whether they're people-pleasing energies, like, oh, okay, here's my internal initial thought on this, and then something happens and we start to then gaslight ourselves, or we have societal constructs, norms, things that tell us, oh, that you shouldn't feel that way. No, that's not true. That can't possibly be true. That then start to talk us out of what we already and truly know. And so there's a lot going on, but we are gifted the knowingness of who we are. And somebody asked this question, and I said, the first small, still voice that told you something, the first thing when something happens that comes through, that's not loud, it doesn't come from the repetitive thinking after it, that's your intuition. That's your internal knowingness. That's divinity or God talking to you. It's like the whisper. It's the whisper. It's not the overthinking. It's not the busy mind. It's not the what everybody else thinks. It's that in that first initial, like when that presents itself, what is right there. And you may not know all the meaning, you may not be able to attach to all of like what it's trying to tell you in that moment, but that internal small voice that's like I can think of this one example that's recently happened to me, and I've actually spent time actually gaslighting myself out of this, um, because that feels safer to go, okay, my ego wants to keep me safe, so that actually can't be true. And it was somebody that I met, and my first initial thought was like, I was destined to meet this person. Like this was predetermined. And my destiny was to meet this individual. What all that means or who they're supposed to be to me and all those things, that's not for me to assign, but trusting that the divine arranged that, connected me to that, and that feeling that ancient remembrance of like, I've known this person for lifetimes. I've known them not only in this existence now, but have known them probably since my soul's inception. And that there's just a feeling of home. And there's other things that have come through in relationship with that person that have validated that in my intuition, in other magical skills that we all have as individuals that have come through that have reaffirmed, like, no, this is who that person is. And there's symbolism for this individual in my life that came through a journey that I did in my shamanic training and practitioner course, that just reaffirmed, like, no, what you initially felt with this individual is the truth. And there's things that have gone on in the 3D world that have really called into question whether that is the truth. But the truth is that initial knowingness, that initial feeling or connection, or my soul feeling like I've known this person for ages. And it's like deja vu. Like that's intuition. That's your intuition. If you feel like, oh, I just like, let me take another 15 minutes, and then you get out on the highway and it's like, oh, there was a bad accident. It's like, that's your intuition. Like God, we are an emanation of God. We are God eternal within the body. We are the infinite abundance of the universe. And the beauty is like God is always guiding us. He's always got a perfect divine plan. There is nothing occurring in your life on this planet at this time that is not in alignment with the highest and greatest good of you. Just like a sperm and an egg come together and there's a flash of light, and through that your body starts to divide into cells, and every cell knows where to go, and there's a moment where our heart just starts to beat. Like that, there is a natural intelligence to the universe that is governing and guiding us, that's far greater than any thought process that we can have. And we have all the wisdom and all the intelligence and all the knowingness that we need housed within ourselves, that we are here to tap into, we are here to learn from. And how can you learn to listen to to that voice. And at the end of the day, like, it takes quieting your mind. It takes all learning what different types of intuition that you have, how they come through. But God is always guiding you. God is always protecting you. He's always leading you down the path of where you need to be going. If we really want to tap in, and there is a lot of noise, and there is a line in the Course in Miracles that says, the ego speaks first and the ego speaks loudest. And it doesn't always speak first. It's the initial turn hit, but then once the mind takes over, that's the ego. Like, I can think of like that feeling and that knowingness, and then it's like once the ego takes over, watch out. That's when I think the Course in Miracles is so accurate there. Like, the ego speaks first and the ego speaks loudest. And the reality is like that initial small, still feeling that you probably didn't even notice actually spoke first. But because our ego is so loud and so predominant and so in charge, because we have spent thousands of years as a human race in those lower energy and chakra centers and needed it in order to preserve ourselves on this planet, trying to rewire ourselves to listen to our heart, to listen to the softness, to the whisper, and to lean into that, and to know that the only action that we have to take is our action that God is calling us to. So that would be when somebody asks me, how do you know what your intuition is? It's like, what's that first initial, not thought, feeling that you had come over you when you first thought about whatever it is that you want to know? Like, how do I know that it's not my ego talking? Your ego is so loud. I know when my ego's talking, because it's like, that's the illusion of the separate self. It's trying to keep me safe. It wants to keep me distanced from other people. It wants to keep me out of right relationship with other individuals. It's doing everything it can to create separation. It's not thinking, oh, you're safe, Erin, and you're one with every other human being, every other element, thing, tree, butterfly, you name it, you're one with all of that on this planet. That is not what the ego's doing. The ego is so loud of like, you're Erin, you got to do this. If you don't do this, you're ba 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 ba. Like, I mean, it goes on and on and on, and gets you hooked into, let me keep you out of right relationship with the whole of the rest of humanity, the whole of the rest of the universe, because you are not safe. So you've got to armor yourself up, Erin. It's you against the world. No, I am one with the world. I am the world. I am safe in this body, in this world, at this present time, in any relationship that I'm in right in this moment. I am safe. And whatever external things we're perceiving in our world aren't the truth. The only thing that's true is love. Love is the only true energy that exists. Everything else is an illusion of that and trying to keep us out of state of unconditional love. And unconditional love means you love without any attachment or anybody doing anything for you. They are you. So you love them because you see yourself in them. And you can love them for where they're at on their journey at this present moment. So God is all love, God is all abundance, and God is always trying to whisper to us to step into that that remembrance of divinity, of safety, of wholeness, of oneness with everybody else. That's your intuition. Your intuition could also be when you feel like it's unsafe and you realize like I shouldn't be in this situation. Like I need not open my door, or I need to not leave my house for, another 20 minutes, or whatever those small things are. Those are all gifts from the universe to guide you to your highest safety and self. And everything is safe. So learn to really step in and quiet your mind. Things that I would do that help strengthen your intuition are find time to quiet your mind and sit in stillness, even if it's for a few minutes. I always start at the beginning of my day, but I take time throughout my day when it's like, nope, the ego is taking over. It's getting loud. These aren't your thoughts. These aren't true thoughts, because true thoughts are one of love and peace and serenity and safety and security. So if my mind starts racing right there, I know that is not truth. When we feel at ease, when we feel at peace, when we feel that sense of home and comfort, that's when we truly know. And so take the time to create the space for you to tap into that, to really listen to that, so that your ego isn't taking over. It's not gaslighting you. It's not creating confusion. And in that, you're going to find the serenity that you're looking for. And you're going to hear God's voice, and He's going to be guiding you from a place of love to a place of love, from a place of wholeness to a continued place of wholeness. So just tap in, listen to that small voice. Don't listen, like if you're getting pulled on other people, because we have a lot of noise in this universe that is so loud that it's trying to attach our ego, and the vast majority of what we're hearing is you're lacking, you're lacking, you're lacking. And when I think of decisions I've made in the past, most of the decisions I've made have come from my ego, from a place of lack. And what then has happened is I've returned to it comes full circle. I just returned to a state of lack. Whatever that person was providing to me wasn't actually what I was truly looking for, because I'm already whole and complete. So am I meeting other people from a state of wholeness and completeness in order to then help accelerate me and my vibration to the next level. And the only way we do that is through aligning our own vibration and understanding that other people's vibration can help us elevate our own, but we're never in a state of lack. There's no one person that holds the answers. There's so much to unpack in this that I actually think tomorrow I'll pick up this topic a little bit further around how we bridge our vibration between fear and lack. Like, how do we get out of that and stop making choices from that? Because that's where I think the magic really happens. And to know that we are the most powerful, creative, divine creatures on this planet. And some of the things that we do are really wacky and weird, that we have decided, if I do this, this will make me whole and complete. Or if I have this, then I'll be whole and complete. And it's like, none of that is what we're here for. We're here to remember our divinity and our energetic blueprint. And what then are we here to express in the world? And we are going through a mass great awakening on this planet at this time, which means we are upgrading out of our solar plexus, third energy center, into our heart-based energy center, which means rewiring everything we do to be infused with love, to be in a state of being love, being life, being forgiveness, being peace. And in the state of being that we are in, we can then give to the world and receive from the world. We will gift to the universe our state of beingness and we'll receive that back. So always remember that in our state of whatever we're in, what we are giving, only what we are not giving can be lacking in any situation. So if I can look at a relationship and go, that's not a very loving relationship. Am I just offering love to that relationship? Because then what I should get back from that relationship is unconditional love. So welcome to Dear Source. I look forward to all your questions. What do you want to know? What burning questions do you have about spirituality, how this fits into now? What do certain situations mean from a spiritual perspective? Any and all questions are fair game. And I want you to continue to ask them. I'm going to continue to answer them and give you one lens of perspective. And hopefully that starts you on your journey of lots more self-discovery to continue to dig in and find the answer for yourself. Hopefully something I said just sparked some type of remembrance in you, and that's the only goal. I don't hold the answers. I just am a conduit to share through myself what God, Source, the universe, divine wants me to be sharing, and how that lands with you should be a constant movement towards higher and greater insights for yourself. So this is just a space to ask, to recognize, and hopefully continuously help you on your spiritual journey to spark greater conversation and to know that you hold all the answers and that any other person is just a reflection back to you to help grow yourself, to learn about yourself, and hopefully help you transcend and align into the highest state of being for you in this lifetime on this earth. So come back tomorrow, have your questions ready, and we'll continue to dive into our elevation as a human collective. Sending you all so much love and light today and always, and I will see you tomorrow on Dear Source, your ascended